Good morning. Are we live yet on Facebook? It's taken a bit. There we go. We are also live on Facebook. I tell you what, last week I did a stream and for some reason my Facebook kept going in and out, in and out.
Oh,
and so the
no.
entire stream, like you'll hear me talking and then all of a sudden it stops and I'm just frozen. And of course my face is
The
never
worst
frozen in like the best
expression.
I'm like, that's all you see. So this is Billy Parrott, Billy and B-Town Meridian Real Estate, and I'm here at the Guild Mortgage headquarters
Guild
in
Mortgage.
Billings, Montana, with the mortgage guru. I just named you that, the mortgage guru,
Oh.
Dede Stoner.
I like it. I call myself a numbers nerd, but guru sounds
Guru,
so
right?
much.
Does it?
Oh,
See, that's your new.
I'm a guru.
Put that on your business card.
I am. That's my new tagline.
Yeah.
Guru. Mortgage guru.
I like that. Dede Stoner, your mortgage guru.
Yes.
I like it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Wow.
You're welcome.
There's my good part for the day.
Well, as you know, we have talked with Dede a few times here, and just because you're just such a wealth of knowledge and you tell it like it is, and that's what I love about you. So
Thank you.
I invited her here today. Well, I'm here at your place,
Yeah.
but I invited her here on Coffee Chat because we're still getting a lot of people out there that are watching the news, and the news does what it does, and that's what they're there to do, is to scare, dramatize everything. And we're here to give you the reality of the market right now and what mortgage rates are doing. And of course, they're a little higher, but I mean, they're still normal, right? I mean, in a mortgage industry way.
Yep.
Obviously, we were spoiled in the last few years with these really low, like crazy rates.
Yeah.
We're probably never going to see those again.
It doesn't sound like it.
No.
It sounds like the experts are thinking we might. And it's just the predictions, but we might get into the fours in the next few years.
Okay.
But as if you guys watch the market and you understand the finance markets and the stock markets and stuff like that, we've seen some tremendous volatility this month and last month, and rates went back up over 7.
Yeah.
And they're down a little bit, under 7 now.
Oh, they are
on average after this week. But that's how just the tiniest bit of information has the biggest, just even the slightest impact on the interest rates.
Isn't that crazy?
It absolutely is. And it right now, basically to try and simplify it as much as possible. The money people, people you see in the background in the stock market, they're all yelling. Yeah. Because I really don't understand how they're accomplishing anything when they're doing that.
Yeah.
But they're gambling on what the Federal Reserve is going to do at the end of the month. And that is how the market is moved,
right?
Is by gamble. It's just like sports gambling.
Oh yeah.
You're going to put money that this team's going to do this, or this team's going to do this. And so that's how money is made. And that's exactly what they do in the finance markets. They are gambling with our money because they're trying to predict what future financial decisions are going to be.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
They're just like sitting there like, the crystal ball.
That's exactly it. They try to be the crystal ball.
Yeah.
And they're using our money to do that. And that's why we see such a fluctuation in the finance markets. And it's it's much more complicated than that, but it's a very simple way to try and help people understand why is there so much volatility and what's going into that. And
it's like a roller coaster.
It is. Absolutely.
I bet you, like, for you every day, you're like, okay, where are we at?
So I start getting market updates at 7 a.m. because the market opens at 9 a.m. on East Coast. So I start getting I get texts right away, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I start getting emails 7 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I get the headlines and I know exactly what's
really?
what is coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I open up my text and I'm like, oh God, what news happened? And it could be something that happens in another country.
Oh,
that
could affect.
Exactly. So if their inflation is really high and they're doing the same thing that we are, they're trying to raise interest rates. That affects our markets as well because our money people react to that, and then they're trying to predict, what's going to happen with this. So
yeah,
it's
just so complex.
And then like this week, it's been pretty positive because they're painting the picture. All of a sudden, inflation's coming down. Now I know none of us feel like inflation is coming down.
Where is it?
This is a topic I don't understand.
No.
Because I don't see prices coming down. I don't think any of us see prices of anything coming down. So, and wages are continuing to go up, which is great. I'm glad to see that. And
they have to go up. Yeah.
And I've seen the average of income in Billings increase dramatically in the last 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. 15 to 18 used to be, you're doing really good in Billings and everything. You could live comfortably on that. And now I see on average $25 an hour.
Yeah. Well, even McDonald's is always saying, "Oh, we're going to pay you 20." I mean, obviously, it's not true,
right? It's just like when you see, oh, refi for free, no fees.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Not true.
We're just trying to come in the door.
Come inside.
I have candy for you.
Let me have you. It's like the white van. Free candy.
Van. It is.
Don't
Absolutely.
go in the white van.
Don't. Just ignore the white van.
Run away from the white van. So that's one of the ththings that I'm hearing a lot is I'm just gonna wait for the market to crash.
Yep.
I'm just gonna wait for the interest rates to go down. If you keep waiting for something that may not happen, you're gonna wish that you didn't, right? Yes. I mean, because what they're saying, a lot of economists right now are saying actually that, well, especially Brian Buffini just had an update. He said that the prices aren't going to come down. If anything, they're just going to continue to do this, right? Year after year. So that house that you're looking at right now could be 20 grand more next year or even more than that because our values just continue to increase.
Yeah. Supply and demand. And it's the same with anything else with the cars. What happened the last 2 years? We've had a shortage of cars. So the prices went up. The used cars prices went up dramatically.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's just when you have something that people want and you have a very limited supply, guess what's going to happen? People are going to drive that price up.
Well, and that's what I had a client the other day. He had just, said, well, what do you, because he was looking at buying a property and he was like, well, what do you think's going to happen to this value? And I said, well, if it continues to do what it's doing, you're going to be fine. Because we still don't have enough inventory out there and we've got this amount of buyers and this little tiny amount of inventory. So that's what's driving the prices up.
Absolutely.
I mean, and if it continues to do that, we're just going to continue to see the prices rise.
Exactly.
So,
and they may not rise in what we saw the last 2 years. It's not normal.
Because of the interest rates. That's what caused that, right? Do you think the rise of prices?
That could be, the influx, and it was across the nation. We're not unique in that. Billings is not unique. Montana is not unique in that. Across the nation, prices and values went up because there was just so much relocation and people moving. It was very chaotic, but it's just like everything else. The prices of groceries are up, gas is up. Automobiles are up. Everything is up.
Our taxes.
Yes.
Mine went up 28%. My property taxes. I about had a heart attack when I opened
mine were almost 50.
What?
Yeah.
50%?
Yep.
Oh, dear goodness gracious.
It's not.
That's insane.
It is insane.
And that's the thing. So if you are purchasing a house, right? And this is maybe your first or second house. Consider that taxes are going to go up and that does affect your payment.
It does.
Because I'm sure, my payment went up, I think $400 a month.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So if you're not thinking of that when you're buying a house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something to consider.
It is something to consider. And the monthly payment is a lot more of a focus now, which makes sense to people because the cost has gone up. It's just so different than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But rent is the same way.
Yeah.
The rent has doubled.
Oh, it has.
In our area as
Big
well.
Time.
So it's more what makes more sense for you. Is it, in being a renter, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what is the best fit. If that's what fits your budget, if that's what fits where you're at in your life, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because some people are maybe wanting to move every year and it doesn't make sense to buy a house
exactly.
at that point.
Yep. And when you become a homeowner, you've got the not sexy stuff you have to deal with. So
I'm dealing with that right now. My washer went out. Yeah, yesterday I put some laundry in, and like it was making this weird noise. It's it's been there since we owned the house, and it was even older anyway, but not to make a long story or short story long. Yeah. It wasn't draining, and I was like, oh no. So yesterday, talking about inflation, I went to a couple stores to buy a washer because I had to make a quick decision because we have a family of 4 and we have a lot of laundry, and the prices of washers are insane.
Are they? I haven't bought a washer since 2013.
Yeah, maybe I just haven't, because I haven't bought a washer, I don't know, last 30 years or something. So maybe I'm just dumb, but I was like, this is how much washers are now. So anyway, yes. The home ownership stuff.
Yeah.
There is a whole slew of things you have to do, because you can't just call somebody and say, hey,
I know.
Can you come replace this? It's on you. Which is great. I mean, it's fine.
Yes.
But it's not for everybody.
It isn't. But if you're at that point that, you know what, I would like to have something that's my own.
Yeah.
I want to put the money that I'm paying, I want to put it into something that's mine.
Putting it back into your own pocket.
Exactly. And I really like the I don't know what generation it is. I get lost with all the different names and stuff. But the younger generation coming up right now in early to mid 20s, that's what I've seen. They're actually seeing the value.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to put this money into my own house. And they understand that interest rates are where they are. They're not going to be that way forever, but it's an opportunity to build equity while we're waiting for interest rates to go down.
That's true. And I mean, obviously I'm a realtor, but I mean, what I see, real estate is the best investment that you can make overall, because the values are going to continually increase. And even if we do have a market crash at some point, you're going to still get that money back as long as you sit and wait for it, because it will always go back up. What comes down always goes back up, is what I see anyway. But yeah. What is that generation? Because there's millennials, which they're like the biggest.
They're older now.
Yeah, they're older now. They're like in their 30s, right?
Yep.
God, that makes me feel old.
I
know. But you got the millennials, and they say actually those are the biggest home buyer demographic right now. Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody knows what the new generation is called, I would like to know, because I have no idea.
I have no idea either. But their financial savviness is extremely impressive for what I have seen over they've been doing this for 16 years. And I really enjoy talking with them because they have a positive viewpoint on what's happening. Yeah. They're not naive to prices going up, etc. But they know that these are the numbers we're working with, whether it's groceries, gas, cars, whatever. They know, here's the numbers we're working with. How do we make it work for us? Right. And I love that. Yeah. I love the solution-minded personality.
They have a fresh perspective.
They do.
As we've been seeing the market doing this and that, and we're living in it. They're coming in with fresh eyes. I've actually got a client that I'm working with right now that is in that demographic. He's already bought and sold like multiple properties. He's got a goal, like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm just like, wow, I wish I was that way when I was that age. I
definitely wasn't.
I would be in a better place right now.
I was not.
Yeah. So I kudos to his parents or whatever happened there, because I was like amazed. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
How old was I? It was 2006 when I bought my first house by myself. It was a little condo off of Arlene.
Oh, nice.
And I love that. And my interest rate was 7%, by the way. Yeah, 7% in 2006.
Right. Yeah, when I bought my first house in 2000, when was it? When I bought my first house, 2003, somewhere in there. It was like 6.9 or something like that. So,
and we didn't think anything of it.
No, I was like, great.
It is what
you're gonna give me a house sold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all perception.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's really easy to get focused on this little tiny minutia right here, and kind of lose track of this big picture like this. And I went into a local business a couple days ago, and I know the owner a little bit, so we started talking about real estate in the market, and he's near our age.
Yeah.
His when we started talking, his perception and his viewpoints were very similar to many. Prices are going up. There's the people who can't afford to buy homes, interest rates, all of that.
Yeah.
Focusing on the stuff that has changed and is not, it's not as ideal as it was 3 years ago. But as we were talking, and I was explaining to him, yes, this is where we're at, but interest rates are normal.
Yeah.
Although we got spoiled.
We totally got spoiled.
The last, the previous 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But we also went through a horrible economic period.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go through something like that again, just so that we have the lower interest rates again?
No.
I don't think any of us want to go through what we went through.
No. Let's not even talk about that word.
So that wasn't a normal period.
Yeah.
For anything.
No.
And then too, the perception of, well, is the market going to crash?
Mm-hmm.
We're not in the same position now as we were in 2008, between 8 and 12.
It's different.
So that it is a lot different. People are sitting on, those of you who have homes that you bought before 2020, and even if you have bought since 2020, you still have gained equity in the last 3 years, and at a higher rate than what I think, isn't Billings pretty typically around 3%?
Yeah.
And we've seen
more than that.
Way more
than that.
Just in the last year.
Yeah.
So while the last year has not been as crazy as the last 2 years, which is not a normal period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna use these numbers for generalities. So if a lot of people, well, I'm not gonna say a lot. I'm sorry. There were some homes, and I can think of a particular area of town where the average price was around $150,000.
Oh yeah.
Those homes are now selling for $300,000.
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Yes.
I still get sticker shock. I'm like, what?
I know. When I have a client come to me and they're like, I'm looking at a house in this area, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember what those house prices were 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to use this as a generality. It's Friday. My tongue and my brain are not working.
I'm right there
together.
with you. I even brought her caffeine.
Okay, so let's say we have 100% appreciation in some price ranges. Oh, well, the media, home prices have gone down 10%. Market's crashing.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You had 100% appreciation and they've gone down 10%. You still have 90% appreciation. You're not losing. You have way more than what you started with.
Well, yeah, I think about all those people, like in that area in particular, that bought, 5 years ago maybe, and they're probably like, holy cow, my house is worth this now?
Yep.
Like, and look where they're sitting now. And if they had waited, they're paying double now for that house.
Absolutely.
So something to think about.
So by the time I left that store, the store owner actually said, thanks for the conversation. You have helped me see this in a different direction. And he was excited. He has investment properties. And he said that he's been scared to take the plunge to purchase more properties because of the environment. And he said, thank you for helping change my viewpoint on that.
Yeah.
So I consider that a win.
Oh, absolutely.
Because as we start out, the media is there to create a certain emotion.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to click on the link that says, oh, the economy is doing great. Oh, house prices are going up, which there are. If you actually look, there are links, because I read the articles every day. There are links that show the house prices are starting to go back up. We've hit the plateau. This is where the market's going. But the headlines that are thrown out there are the house prices are down 10% year over year. Foreclosure filings are up 13%. Well, they were at 0% for 3 years.
I haven't seen any foreclosures lately. Like, I've got people that are like, I want to buy. I can't find any.
Right. Because people have so much equity, it doesn't make sense to go into foreclosure.
Yeah.
You would sell it. Even if the property's not in excellent condition, there is a market for that.
Oh,
there's people
absolutely
looking for that.
Yes.
So I feel like there's too much equity for people to go into foreclosure.
Yeah.
It doesn't make financial sense to do
No. And if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, I can't, but I can't afford my house anymore, call a realtor, like ask them, because before you go through that process, they can be like, no, you can definitely
absolutely
get your money out. And short sales are not even existent anymore.
Oh, I can't know. I haven't heard that term.
Do you remember the days of short sales?
I do. And the chaos it created with mortgage approvals.
Yeah. I don't want to go back to those days. Those are not fun days.
No.
Well, we've got a couple people watching. Frank, good morning.
Hi, Frank.
You should be working. I'm just kidding. Good morning. Glad you're watching. And our friend Craig is in the building. Good morning. If you guys have questions, who's ever watching, if you have like a question that you always wondered about mortgages or real estate, just put it in the chat and we will answer it.
Yep.
Or at least try to answer it. And if I can't answer it now, I will get you an answer later.
Absolutely.
But between the two of our minds on a Friday morning.
Yes.
We'll get you something. So tell us a little bit about, because we're talking about a little bit of investment properties. So we kind of chat a little bit about this, and without going into too much detail, if someone is thinking about buying their first investment property or maybe an Airbnb, like what's their first step? Like what should they know? Like what do they need to have to start that process?
Okay. The first thing to be aware of is you will need a larger down payment. It's not a 5%, 3% down situation. And interest rates and fees for investment properties are quite a bit higher than primary residences. And that's because of steps that the government put into place. I think it's been a year and a half. I can't remember if it was last April or the April before. Time goes by so fast anymore. But the government did that on purpose to try and curb the flow, the purchasing of investment properties. And so they purposely made it more expensive to try and stop that. So just know that going in. So when you're penciling out, you do have to take that into consideration. But the biggest thing is the down payment, because I have a lot of people calling. They're like, oh, I want to buy this property for a rental, because there is being in the rental market has changed, and it can be a very viable investment now. And but you have to have cash. You have to have the cash for the down payment. The equity in your home, even if you work with an institution that allows you to use equity in your current home, they're going to use this much of it.
Okay, good to know.
They will only lend, and they may not. And I just went through that recently. I tried to use equity that I have in a different investment property, and they came back and said no.
That's a bummer.
It is a bummer. So, and I'm talking about a commercial type of situation, not residential, which is a different animal altogether. But if you're going through the residential process, a single family home, so not a multi-unit, you can do 15% down. Your interest rate and your fees are going to be much higher than if you have 25% down, or more. I'm seeing the best return and the best interest rates and fees when somebody has more than 50% down. And I do have investors who have that. They have this money that they want to use, or maybe they need to use if they have a 1031 exchange that they have to work with. They have these funds to use. And that helps. So the more you have down, the better your rates and fees are going to be, and which is going to help your penciling out. If you're purchasing a 2 to 4 unit property, so let's say you find a duplex, your minimum's 25% down. So I've seen a lot of duplexes listed recently for right around $500,000. So you're going to need.
Isn't that insane?
On that. I know. I'm shocked. So that's the biggest thing, is you do need to have cash to get into that property. As time goes on, then we can talk about different ways to try and use that equity, and whether that mean a commercial loan or a different way to get into that equity. We can have that conversation, but you're going to need cash. And that's usually the biggest sticking point, because people see, oh, I can maybe get this rent money, and I want to get into this house. And then when I tell them what it's going to cost, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Now, is there a way if you plan to live in one of the units and rent out the other one, is there a different program that they could use possibly?
Yep. So there is that. So the FHA loan is going to be your least amount down on that one.
Yep.
So with a 2-unit property, you can get, if you're going to occupy it one side, you do have to occupy it for a year. And then after 12 months, you can rent the side that you're living in and then go and buy a conventional loan of 5% down.
Nice.
And live in that one for a year. Turn that one into a rental. Buy your next conventional.
Smart.
So that's the least amount out of pocket way.
Yeah.
To get into investment properties if this is something that you're interested in doing. The conventional loan, even though you're going to live in one side of it, the minimum will be 15% down.
15%. Okay. So the FHA, what's kind of a range, I guess, for interest rates, or down payment.
Yes. Yep. 3.5% down.
Okay. So it'd still be around 3.5. Okay. So that's doable.
Absolutely.
For, like a young investor that wants to get started.
Yep.
You have a place to live and you're making some income. So
your tenant is making
your mortgage payment.
Your mortgage payment in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah. Because right now that's kind of what I'm dealing with a lot of investors right now, and they're still having sticker shock because obviously, with where values have gone, they can't pencil out the numbers.
You're exactly right.
And I keep telling them, I'm like, it's not penciling right now, but like if you don't buy this property at this moment, next year it's going to be even more.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's just that hard to, because we don't have deals anymore. There's no deals.
Right.
Well, if they are out there, they're very hard to find. Yep. But I think everybody's looking for that deal. And I mean, the reality of it is just very hard to come by anymore. So, yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do encourage waiting for that right property.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just jumping on something, because it buying a home is it's an expensive endeavor.
It is. It's your biggest investment.
It's a big financial commitment.
Yeah.
And I think that there's excellent opportunity in this market. But I also think that there's time for you to find what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. Don't rush it.
Yeah.
Don't rush it.
We're not in the market we were. Was it just last year that people were paying $50,000+ over asking price? We're not in that market. And I'm so glad, because I had so many clients that felt like they had to make a decision that they may not have made.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just a much better situation for everybody on all sides.
Yeah, because I mean, what I'm still seeing multiple offers happening, but it's not as crazy, like you said, as it was last year, where you're seeing 50 grand over people waiving inspection fee or contingencies and that kind of stuff. So I love to see the more normal ish.
Yes.
Because that was stressful.
Yeah, it was super chaotic.
Yeah. Because I mean, you know, as a realtor, you don't want your buyer to make a bad decision, but you also want to get them that house that they want, right? You know, so it's like that thin line, like, oh, what do you do? You know, but I think even my clients that bought over last year, they're still sitting good. I mean, with how everything's going, so that's good.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's been fun. And, the clients who bought last year and they're calling me today. Like, well, we're thinking of maybe selling and getting something different. They're in a position that they're going to have equity, even in just a year. And it's really interesting to see.
Yeah. So I know one of the reasons why we have low inventory right now is because so many people have that really low interest rate and they don't want to get rid of it.
Yep.
So they don't want to move. And some people just don't have to move. But what would you say to those people that, I mean, maybe they have to relocate or they need to move up because maybe their family's growing or something like that? I mean, what would you say to those people to kind of put them at ease, I guess? Or is there even anything to say? I mean, because I don't know what to say to them. I'm like, I don't know.
I know. I get it. It's
totally
hard to go from a 3% interest rate to a 6 something.
Yes.
The payment is different. And prices are different,
Mhm.
taxes, insurance different. We all know insurance has gone up.
Yeah.
It's all gone up. And so having the conversation of knowing that rates will go down at some point.
Yeah.
They will probably never be where they were.
No.
But they will go down.
Yeah.
And if this is something that they feel that this is the right move for them, and it's just talking through the numbers, I'll show them, here's what the payment looks like at this interest rate, or here's what this looks like here. You have this much equity here. Can we use this? Maybe let's pay off some debt to relieve some of that financial burden per month, which may make that higher house payment make more sense.
Yeah.
And again, the equity that's sitting in homes right now is tremendous. And so I have some people who are like, we're just going to put it all towards the new home. And so then it keeps their payment similar, or not, as the increase isn't quite as much.
That's true.
But they want to move, or they need to move. So they have this asset that they can use to help them get into that.
Right.
And again, they know that when rates go down, if they're still in that home, we can take a look at refinancing at that time.
Yeah.
In the meantime, they're still building equity.
Yeah, that's true. Good. Hey, great answer. I'm going to record that and play it when anybody. Well, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Hold on a
Watch
second.
this.
Listen. That's funny. No, well said. Well said. Thank you. So in case first I want you to talk about one of your programs that you got right now for doctors. I think it's a really cool program. I'll let you go ahead and talk on that.
Especially since the medical school just had their grand opening yesterday. They're having an open house this weekend. If you guys want to go look, it's really, truly fascinating. Their mission's amazing. It's about finding the root cause of our aches, pains, illnesses, stuff like that. And so, is it doctors of osteopathy? I think. I could be saying that wrong. Don't quote me. I've done a couple tours in the college, and
cool?
Yes, it is really cool. It just feels good when you walk in. And then I also have been hired as a specialized patient. So I am going to be a practice patient for the student doctors as they're going through the program.
What? So how does that work? Do they you're like a guinea pig?
Yeah.
Or what? Oh my God.
And so it's not, they're not going to do major procedures or anything like that, but they give us scripts. So I just had to audition this week for it. And they give you scripts of the health situations that you're going in. And so they're teaching these students how to be a doctor, how to ask the right questions, hear what you're saying, stuff like that.
It's like exciting. It's like that Seinfeld episode. Do you watch Seinfeld?
I haven't. Oh my gosh.
There is a funny Seinfeld episode where Kramer, he's one of the characters, Kramer, and I think it's George, but it's kind of similar where they are auditioning to do that, right? And they they got notes of what their ailment was, and so they had to portray that without saying what it is to these student doctors. It is the most funny episode. If you're a Seinfeld lover,
it's funny.
Let me know, because you just reminded me totally of that. I just pictured you painting your face orange. Liver problems. I don't know, but
it could happen.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they are looking for more patients, by the way.
Okay.
They do pay $20 an hour
for
it. Yeah.
To act?
Yeah.
So basically you're acting.
Yep.
It's not like an ailment that you have. You're acting like you have this ailment that they have to find out what it is.
Yes.
Oh my, I'm in.
Yeah. I'm in. Anyway, I know it's off topic a little bit, but
totally. That's okay.
It does fit in with the doctor loan.
Yeah.
So this is for specific doctors and veterinarians, and even if they're in their residencies. It is a 0% down, no PMI loan.
Nice.
For doctors. It's wonderful. I priced one out this week for a doctor. We went a different direction. They felt was a better fit for them, but it was fabulous. They didn't have the funds, or as much funds as they would have liked for a loan. And so this was a great option for them. We know a lot of doctors are new into their profession. Like when these students graduate, they're they may not have the funds because they've been in school this whole
And they
time.
have like student loans.
It's absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's say they're going to get hired on at one of the hospitals here. They get a contract. We can work off that contract and be zero down to get into a home.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really great. There's not a lot of hoops to jump through, which previous doctor loans we've had in the past have been a little more complicated. I'm surprised at the simplicity of this one.
That's great.
Yeah, we love it a lot. So those of you who are in the medical field, if you know doctors, you are doctors, and you're interested in getting into a home but want to lessen the out-of-pocket experience, give me a call because we can definitely talk about that.
I love that. That's a great program. Zero down.
Zero down. Yep.
Zero down. To get into a house.
I know, you don't see that anymore.
Yeah. It's like, zero down. Let's get you in a home today.
I know.
I just feel like it. Yeah. Anyway, my mind just goes squirrel.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. But wait, there's more. We're into that. Was that sponge? Was it sponge tastic? I don't know. My brain is.
Oh, I thought you were going to the Woolly. That's from sponge, and I went to Woolly.
Yeah. Oh,
Woolly
yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's funny. Okay, cool. So, if someone's watching right now and they're thinking, you know what, they've talked me into it. I want to buy a house. I want to start working on that. What's that mortgage loan pre-approval process look like? What's their first step?
Okay. The first step is to set up with a lender, and I happen to know one if you're interested.
The guru.
The guru. And we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about what your hopes and dreams are, what your goals are, what your comfort level is, and we're going to talk about your history for the last couple of years, where you've lived, where you've worked. We're going to collect documentation from you, so be prepared. We will ask for bank statements, not screenshots of your bank balance. That doesn't tell me anything.
So how far back bank statements usually?
2 months.
2 months.
Just 2 months. And I promise you, when we ask for 2 months, we don't need 4.
Okay.
I have there's a general conception that, oh, well, if I provide more, you ask for this, I'm going to provide more because it's better. I promise it's not. We don't want it.
Oh, you don't want to see it.
No.
Okay. Good to know. Less is better.
Less is better. A month of pay stubs, not 3, just 1 month. And then tax returns for the last 2 years, and your W-2s. So I see this a lot. The W-2s are the form that you get at the end of the year that show the amount of income you've made with your employer. Tax returns are what you file with the IRS to see if you get a tax refund or have to pay taxes. So those are 2 different things, and people often think that it's the same thing.
Really?
Or they think that the tax returns are W-2s or W-2s are tax returns. So just a little lesson there.
Yes.
But well, yeah, it's not anything.
Okay.
But just remember, they are 2
Tax
different things. Tax returns and W-2s.
Okay.
Yep.
So they provide that to you, and then you kind of plug in your numbers and you say yes, no, someday.
Yeah. Yep. We do pull credit. We have to pull credit.
Yeah. A lot of people get weird about that.
Yep. Pulling your credit actually is the least impact on your credit score out of everything that happens with your credit. Yes.
See, a lot of people are like, I don't want my credit pulled because it's going to ding me or whatever. Yeah. So it's not the case.
That's not the case. It is highly unlikely that our pull is going to impact a score that much. What impacts your score? Just here's a little credit report lesson. Credit card balances. Those are huge. So let's say you have somebody pull your credit in February and your scores are at 640. And then you come to me for a second opinion in April and I pull your scores and they're 620. A lot of people think, well, it's because you pulled my credit. It's not. It's likely because maybe in February, your credit card balances were at 50%. But when I pulled your credit, your cards are maxed out.
Oh, okay.
So that's usually where I see the biggest impact is high balance credit cards. And the bureaus do hit hard on that. But the good thing is they do recover pretty quickly once you're paid off.
Once you pay them off.
Yep. Okay. Late payments, even if it's a $25 a month minimum payment, if it's more than 30 days late, will hit a score of 50 to 100 points.
Holy cow.
Yep. And
100 points.
Yep. And making the payment or catching it up doesn't remove that late reporting. So that late's on there. It will be impacting your score for at least a year.
Really? For a whole year?
It doesn't stay. keeps that score down.
Wow.
I mean, it's just because it takes a lot to rebuild a score. It takes not much.
Okay. Good to know. So
anyway,
make your payments on time.
Yes,
kids.
please make your payments.
On time.
On time.
On time.
So anyway, let's say, we pull credit, everything looks great. We're going to put those numbers together and see what kind of programs do you fit into. Are you a first-time home buyer and you need assistance? Maybe you're not a first-time home buyer and still would like to look at assistance. We have programs for that too. Maybe you want to live outside the city limits of Billings. There's a specific program for that. Maybe you are a veteran. We have a specific program for that. So we're going to take a look at your individual financial picture. We're going to remember what we talked about, what your goals are, and what your financial wants and needs are. We're going to put all that together, and figure out this is what you're approved for, or this is what matches your payment. I get a lot. $1,700 is a pretty common payment that I desire. Here's what you can be qualified for if you feel like your budget can fit that.
Right. That makes sense. Because what you're approved for and what you feel comfortable with are two different things.
They are.
Yeah.
And one thing to keep in mind, I hear this a lot. I see it a lot on social media. Oh, I pay $1,800 a month in rent, but I can't get approved for a house. And there's a reason for that. As a general society, we live paycheck to paycheck. When you're applying for a mortgage, we don't qualify paycheck to paycheck. And so that is why somebody may not qualify for what they're currently paying.
Right.
Because in real life, they're living and using every bit of funds that they can. When we qualify you for a mortgage, we don't want you to be in that position.
No.
Because we know that there's emergencies that come up, life happens, stuff like that. So we're not going to put you in a position that making that house payment is going to be a struggle.
Yeah, which is good because I like, and some people know this already. I've been in that, and it's the worst thing.
It's the worst.
You don't even want to be in your house anymore. You resent your house because that's all you're paying towards.
Exactly.
And so I constantly, when I see a client go in that direction, I'm like, please really look at, do you want to travel? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to buy that Gucci bag? You know what I mean? There's like so many things. So
And that's part of the conversation that we have too. And if your lender's not doing this, you need to maybe take a look at that, because we're loaning you hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is a tremendous financial impact. And we want to make sure that you're comfortable with this, that this is not going to be a hassle every single month.
Exactly.
And life happens, let's say, jobs are lost. Or relationship changes or something like that. Obviously we can't predict that. But what we want you to love your house. We believe in home ownership. I personally believe in home ownership. I want to see everybody own their own place.
Absolutely. Yep. I agree. I agree. Well, cool.
Yeah.
That was great information.
Thanks. I can talk about all day.
So you can call the guru here and she'll talk to you all day about your
guru. Yes.
I feel like you should be sitting there like a yoga position.
Oh, right. How do we do that? Is it this?
I think it's this.
This.
I think it's this.
Will somebody send a? Isn't that a gang sign?
No, this
is this.
Oh my God, we can't do big.
Oh, is this bad?
I don't know. I don't even know if we're doing anything right. I think it's.
Oh, what is that thing where people were making you look?
Oh, yes.
Is it that?
It's this.
Is
yeah,
it
my
make
son.
a look.
My son would do that to me all the time and drove me crazy. Smack him. I love you, son. You're probably not watching, but anyway. But no, I think that as a parent, I haven't done my kids justice in teaching them like this is what you should start striving for. Say, my son's 18 right now, and he's thinking about renting a property with a buddy right now, and I was like, dang it, I did not do my job as a parent and sit down, and I'm a realtor, I do this every day, and sit down with them and say, hey, you really need to start thinking about this, so you could buy your first place and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to have that conversation with him today.
I think that's great.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because he's not going to live in my basement forever.
Uh-oh, you heard it here.
If you're listening, you have about a year, and then I'm kicking you out. I'm just kidding. Just joking.
It's so funny when I was, and I don't know if it's individual, if it's generational. As soon as I was 18, I was ready to move out.
Oh, same. I moved out when I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you are a bad ass.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I didn't buy a place or anything.
Still, getting out on your own is scary.
It is.
It's so scary.
It is. I moved in with my husband's grandma in their basement. And got married 2 years later. So I was ready to get going.
It was meant to be.
I was like, let's get going with this life thing. Get married, have kids, buy a house.
Yep.
Not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's good.
Yep.
Enjoy your time.
Enjoy
Anyway,
your time.
we just got off on a tangent.
I
know.
There's so many great little things we could discuss.
I know. We could go on
we could
forever.
Probably go on for several hours. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bing, 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 squirrel.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, we could talk for hours.
Yes, I feel like we could have a really good podcast just talking about
we
life events. Yes.
If you guys want me to form a podcast, let me know, because I've been thinking about that actually.
Have you?
What do we call it?
I'm not sure.
I like that idea.
I like the idea because we could, just like you see us here.
Yeah.
We're just real.
We're just chit-chatting.
Exactly.
Like friends. Well, we are friends.
Yeah, we are friends.
We are friends. We have our coffee, tea, coffee.
Basic.
Her tiny coffee.
My basic iced coffee.
She said small, and I told them small, and they give me this kid-size trial sip cup thing. I was like, what is this? Sizing is small at all of our coffee shops.
This is a small coffee.
That is a small coffee at City Brew, just so you know. If you don't want it that small, don't say small.
Don't say small.
Oh, God. All right. Well, anything else that you want to say to the masses before we end today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just if you have questions, this is another thing I tell people when I talk about the industry and stuff like that. Is it the right time to buy? I get that question all the time. And I just say, if it's the right time for you.
Yep.
Because everybody's situation is different.
Yes.
I know we like to ask the people in our circles and our coworkers and stuff like that. And we get everybody else's opinions and they influence our opinions. And in situations like this, they're not paying.
Yeah, they're not paying your
house payment.
Right.
So if you feel that it's the right time for you, that's okay.
Yep.
It's okay that it's not the right time for them, but it doesn't mean it's not the right time for you.
Yeah.
So we'll have that conversation. I have had this conversation so many times in the last few years. And in some situations, I advise people, you know what, maybe we need to, let's plan that. Let's do this for 6 months. And if we can do this for 6 months and that feels okay to you, then let's take a look at moving forward. Yeah. If it doesn't, let's regroup and we'll make another plan. Yeah. And then other people, they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We have everything ready to go. We were just, everybody tells us that it's a really bad time. And so we're really conflicted and thank you for sharing your point of view. Thank you for showing this to us. And I like it when we have conversations like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're advisors. We're not salespeople. Like I always tell people, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not here to sell you a house. I'm here to advise you to make the best decision possible. Like I've actually lost deals because I said, you know what, maybe now's not the time. Maybe you should wait and save up more money so you can get that house in that area that you want or whatever. So so we're here to advise.
We are. Yeah. And we're going to be objective about it. Yes, we believe in home ownership. But it's just, we wouldn't be in the business if we didn't. But we also recognize everybody's in a different place in their life. Yeah. Everybody's situation is different. Yep. And I want you to love that home. I love the emails that I get from my clients. Oh, it's been a year since we've been in our home. Thank you so much. We love that you helped us. Yeah. Or when clients send me their children, that's how old I am. I have clients sending me their children to buy a house.
Oh my gosh.
And I love this. I love it so much.
Yes.
Or I have clients who just repeatedly come back to me. They're like, I'm selling, I want to buy another one. Can you help us out?
Mhm.
So it's obviously we're in the business for this, but we want you. That's the relationship that I want. That's the relationship that we want.
Right.
Is you trust us. You trust us so much that you send us your future children, or you send us your kids or your parents,
friends, family.
Yes, exactly. That's we're here to build those relationships with you, not just to get a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I don't want anybody mad at me 2 years
Absolutely
from now.
not. I really hate people being mad at that house.
Yeah, she forced me to buy this house. I don't want that. She arm wrestled me.
Exactly.
Maybe sign the paper.
I hate you. Yeah. I hate you, Mom. Yeah, we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. So, yes. Well, thank you once again.
Thank you.
We're going to do this quarterly. I'm just going to hit her up and say, hey, you ready for another coffee chat?
It's so fun.
It is. And we always have something new to talk about. So, yeah. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So hit up Dede Stoner, Guild Mortgage, the mortgage guru is what we're calling her now. Just going to put on all our business cards, social media. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe she will.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. I'm the social media guru. So yeah, if you guys have questions after this, maybe questions that come up, you can either hit one of us up, or you can message me on Facebook or comment or whatever, and we'll answer your question. You're on Instagram, Facebook. You can find you in all those places, LinkedIn. So cool. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and thanks for watching Coffee Chat today.
Have a great weekend.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. We're gonna end on